Have you ever noticed that the people who are desperate for the spotlight are often the most exhausting to be around, while the people who genuinely could not care less are the ones we cannot take our eyes off of? If someone in your life is constantly acting out for attention, your first instinct is probably to just ignore them. But psychology shows that ignoring an attention seeker is the absolute worst thing you can do, because it actually trains them to escalate their behavior. Today we are going to break down the exact reason why people become desperate for the spotlight, why we sometimes secretly pick fights with the people we love, and the psychological trick called intentional silence that can make you effortlessly magnetic without trying at all. To understand this, we first need to look at what is actually happening when someone acts out. Attention seeking is almost always a misguided bid for connection and a cry for help from someone who simply does not know how to ask for it positively. No one behaves this way just to be bad. At its core, this behavior is often driven by childhood neglect, a lack of healthy validation, and a very deep well of shame. When a child's emotional needs are not seen or met, they can develop a hyper need for validation that feels like a black hole that can never be satisfied. They learn that making a scene or creating a crisis is the only reliable way to force people to notice them. This dynamic becomes especially complicated and frankly mind-bending in romantic relationships. Sometimes we will intentionally trigger anger and rage in our partners because receiving that anger feels less terrifying than being vulnerable and directly asking for love. To ask our partner if they still love us means revealing the massive scale of our vulnerability and our extreme dependence on them for our psychological survival. So instead of risking rejection by asking for reassurance, we choose the lower price of starting a pointless argument just to secure proof that they remember we exist. We provoke them into a rage because even though it is completely dysfunctional, their mind is at least fully trained on us. This is exactly why giving someone the silent treatment or punishing them for their drama completely backfires. Ignoring them simply feeds the negative behavior and massively increases their anxiety, because it confirms their deepest fear that they are unlovable and invisible. To handle this, psychologists recommend a framework often called the Backdoor Approach. When someone is being dramatic, you give them a minimal, barely more than neutral response to calmly keep them safe or shut down the immediate negativity. Then, you wait until they are calm and safe, and you go in the back door to deliberately pump them full of positive experiences. You must aim for a 5-to-1 ratio of positive interactions when they are not being dramatic, teaching them that they do not need to act out to receive your care and attention. But what if we flip the script completely and look at the people who naturally draw attention without ever begging for it? While attention seekers actively perform to earn public approval, highly magnetic people operate on an internal locus of control. They completely stop tying their self-worth to public recognition, relying instead on internal validation, which naturally projects an incredibly rare aura of self-assurance. They also utilize the profound power of intentional silence. Instead of talking just to fill the empty space, they pause, they regulate their emotions, and they only speak when their thoughts are exceptionally clear and logical. Their calm, quiet independence acts as a mirror, and it naturally disrupts others because it completely challenges the insecurities of the people around them. In a modern world where everyone seems entirely exhausted by the desperate, performative hunt for constant validation, the single most powerful thing you can do is just unplug from the performance. True magnetism does not come from finding new ways to force people to look at you. It comes from doing the quiet, internal work to heal your own shame, reaching a point of such profound self-reliance that you simply no longer care if they look at all.